Today we are starting a new session on photography. Now we have already done one session on photography and cinematography. So there, what we are talking about is, the if you are a beginner, then if you take up photography and cinematography, then how you can deal with photography and cinematography. How you can learn the basics, learn the techniques and the basics, shutter speed, aperture, ISO, the exposure triangle, how you are playing with exposure, you are learning to see light, you are playing with light, you are playing with maybe the focal points in a picture you want to capture. Maybe you are going to shoot a race where you have a lot of vehicles who are running fast, moving fast. You are capturing a particular blur, or you want to capture a freeze frame, or whatever you want to do. You are playing with that shutter speed, aperture, you are playing with that ISO. Maybe you are going to a waterfall, you want the water of the waterfall to be in a certain way. It can be you can use a neutral density filter and you can have a particular effect. You can use a polarizer, you can have a particular effect. You can use just the normal lenses and you can achieve something. Now, what will be the composition? How far you are from the subject, and how you are capturing the subject. What can be the main thing? Apart from that, what is there? What idea you want to convey? What story you want to tell? If you want to hit the streets, if you want to go to the streets, you are going to shoot people. Now, if you want to shoot people, you need to love people, right? You need to love humanity. So maybe you are witnessing a moment and you are capturing that. Maybe you are looking at a relationship, that has something, really, what I can say. I mean, something you want to share, a picture you want to share, emotional something, some a storytelling is happening just at the moment and you are capturing that particular moment. And also things happen really fast, right? Things happen really fast, so you need to be very cautious, you need to be very observing, and you need to be ready with the camera, and then you can dance with the camera. Then we can play with the camera, you can move with the camera, but things are happening very fast. Suddenly, when you are going to the streets, when you are going to hit the streets, what happens is one thing will happen suddenly and they don't even know whether they will be able to repeat it or not. And if they repeat it, it will be something very cosmetic. They are trying to make something, they are trying to be something, they are trying to create the situation again, but something happened in that spontaneous moment and you want to capture, right? So you need to be ready with the camera, and then you need to play with the exposure triangle again. How much you are going to capture? You are going to capture some speed, you are going to capture that particular freezed moment, you are going to capture that particular smile you wanted to capture, you wanted to capture that particular gaze you wanted to capture, you wanted to capture that particular moment. Something is happening, a very curious moment, and your curiosity towards it, and you want to capture that. So many things you can do, right? So you play with the techniques, you play with whatever the camera is offering in terms of technology, in terms of science, whatever the camera is offering. Then you are looking at light, how you can play with light, how you can play with exposure, and it's the subject is there, how you are composing the golden mean, this compositional rules. You are going for lines and shapes, and how you are structuring the entire thing. You are structuring the composition, you are taking inspiration from painting, drawing, or whatever it is, and you are looking at the visual elements, and then there is the human element. So everything is taken care of, and you have the technology. You are playing with the camera. Now whichever camera you choose to do, choose to have, it is like you are having some basic features like shutter speed, exposure, triangles, ISO, aperture. You have these basics. Then some camera, the basic cameras, point and shoot cameras, the basic cameras people start with. You are having particular modes that you can capture: portrait mode, landscape mode, this and that. Now you can understand by capturing with those modes how you are playing with the exposure triangle. You will take a picture, you will look at the EXIF data, and you will look at the display, and you will understand whether it's 2.8, whether it's 5.6, whether it's 7.2, whether it's 10, or whatever it is, now you need to understand that too, 2, 2.8 to 10, 12, 32, what you are going to do, the f-stops, and what is its relationship with light. These are the things we have talked, and these are the things any person who is coming to photography, they will keep talking about it, and these are the basics you need to know. But here what we are doing is, here we are not talking about those basics. So this is the introductory session. What we are talking about is, few things I talked about, the visual element, lines, shapes, contrast, texture, how you are creating the focal points. It is directing the eye of the viewer in a certain way, so that that particular subject people are drawing into, people are going to that subject first, the visual hierarchy, if I say so. You are looking at this, and then you are looking at this, then you are looking at this. You can play with those things, how you are making your composition, how you are capturing it, and when you practice it enough, it becomes part of your being. You are taking the camera, suddenly you look at the moment and you capture that moment. Sometimes you don't even look at the camera and you capture the moment, but you know that how you are framing the composition, how you are playing with all these things, right? So those things Here in photography, what we are talking about is, I have mentioned few times, so if you are talking about visual arts, right, if you're talking about visual arts, you will see that we have a lot of inspiration from paintings, graphic design, sculpture, so many things. So it is the artwork itself, the artist is creating, the artistic process, the conversation you are having with the artists, the portraits you are having with the artists. We will talk about those things here. So something beyond those basic techniques, something beyond those aesthetics. So it will be very different. What is the difference between a snapshot, a snap you are taking, and what is the difference between a photograph, and what makes it different, how you can elevate it to something else? What is the artistic thing in this photograph? What is the human element? How you are capturing the human element? That person is capturing the human element in a particular way. You are capturing it in a particular way. You have a voice. You have a visual language. How you are expressing yourself through that visual language. You have an idea. You have a story. You have a theme. And you are conveying those things with the camera. So the camera can be an instrument for your communication, right? But you are understanding visual arts, aesthetics with the visual language, visual communication, and you are capturing that. Sometimes you are so adept with it, you are taking the camera, you are looking at the subject, and sometimes by intuition, sometimes with the wisdom that you get from your practice, sometimes your creative process. You are totally immersed into your creative process. All the time you are looking at pictures, all the time you are looking at paintings, all the time you are surrounding yourself with art, you are doing a lot of research, you are looking at paintings, you want to learn more, you are curious, you want to see how other painters painted that light, how other painters painted that subject, how other photographers did it. You are not imitating them, you are finding out your own voice. Sometimes before doing that, before finding your own voice, before finding your own style, you figure out a lot of things, you explore a lot. Then suddenly, sometimes you do that, sometimes you don't do that. There are people who do that before, taking a picture. Sometimes people who don't want to look at that. Maybe they have some inspiration, maybe they have liked some pictures, they have liked some photographers, they have liked some artists, but what they are going for is, suddenly they pick up the camera and they are going out. They are figuring out their own style. Sometimes people make a lot of mistakes, then they understand that this is the wrong thing I did. I could have done it in a better way. This is something I could have played with. Sometimes you take a lot of pictures, then you start to learn these things. Sometimes you explore a lot and you have an idea, you get a visual idea of something, and then you are capturing something and you have some inspiration there, but you are still having your own style, you are having your own say, you are having your own voice, if you have, through the visual language, so you can do all these things. Now you have to be a good human being, when we are talking about this photography playlist or this photography sessions, you have to be a good human being, because if you are not a good human being, you will miss those spontaneous moments because you are not going for that. You don't love people, so why there is a need to capture that spontaneous moment? Why do you look at the smile of a person, and what do you get out of it? Sometimes you don't have the that attitude towards exploration. You don't want to explore. You don't want to take pictures. You will take those mundane pictures. You don't want to go for that thing the world is offering us. And the world is beautiful, the world is really beautiful. We have so many subjects, so many interplay of things, and things are happening. Suddenly you are going to that place and you never know something is happening and you are capturing. Now, if you are into photojournalism, if you want to document something, what you can do is you are going to a particular situation. You have your visual style, you have your visual communication, you have your voice, but that particular situation is offering you something very spontaneous and very special, right? So you have what you should have, the way you have developed yourself, the way you have made yourself, but that particular situation is offering you something. Now what is happening is those two things are coming together. So you have yourself, you have your camera, and then you have that particular situation, a subject in that particular situation, some moment you want to capture. So many things are happening, and everything is coming together. Your mind and heart and body, everything is aligned, and you are taking a picture, right? Now when you do that, when you really love it, you will see that the camera will offer you a lot of things, because you will love to play with the camera. You will love to play with the techniques it is offering. You will love to play with the the scientific elements it is offering. You will love to play with that, and you will see that it is not just for the sake of playing, right? It is not for the sake of playing. Rather, what you are doing is you want to tell a particular story in a particular way, in one particular frame. In one particular frame, you want to tell a story in a particular way. Now the story is getting told in a particular moment, and it's very difficult. Sometimes when you take a picture, it is very difficult, because if you are not that person, if you are not loving it, that picture won't be like that. So you will take hundreds, thousands pictures, and you will see why my picture is not like that picture, why he or she is able to take that picture, why I am not able to take that picture. Many people go through their lifetime, many people spend years, and they don't figure out why they are not able to take those pictures. But sometimes when you really love it, when you have a lot of passion for it, what you do is you figure out that you have something in you, something very intrinsically you, and you want to convey that particular situation, you want to convey that particular subject, you want to communicate to the audience what you have to offer, what you can say, what you can communicate, right? So you have to love people, you have to love humanity, empathy, compassion we talk about. Any artist will have that, or any good artists will have that when you are dealing with humanity, when you are portraying humanity. Now some people will go through landscape pictures. They will like to go to a particular place and they will take a picture of a landscape. Sometimes they will go for portraits. Sometimes they will go for one particular person, and that particular person will be captured by different people in different ways. Maybe one particular place, one particular artist, and the way that artist works, some person wants to capture that. Now this person is capturing that particular situation in a particular way. This person is capturing the particular situation in a particular way. For example, suppose there is an artist and you have a liking for that personality. Maybe by nature you are drawn towards that personality. You want to convey that personality in your picture. So you are figuring out at a particular moment one picture that is conveying the personality of an artist.